let's do a quick haul. I just went to Ace Hardware and I want to show you what I got. What did I get? Okay, so I got potty mix. Potty mix. What else did I get? Here's my bag. I also got some bamboo steaks, a 25 pack, and I figure, I don't know if it's gonna be tall enough, 2 feet, but I'm thinking about the okra. I also got these little deals here. I'm gonna use them in the green stalk because I like the way the ends don't poke out. You see, we'll test it out. Remember, this is Miss Flower's Learning Lab too, not just my not just the patio garden. It's also a learning lab. So here I got this because I'm gonna figure out how I can mix up some pesticide. What else did I get? I got me a little hoe. Y'all behave. I also got, this is harder than it looks. I got a stronger thing of these clipper cutter numbers just in case, probably, for later down the road or something. But that's all in the bag. Let's go to the garden. Leave my granddaddy alone. I thought it might be fun to watch me kind of set up the camera here to get the shots of the plants. Now, the garden is kind of a mess. I need to kind of clean off some of the soil that's fallen out of the pots onto the ground, but it's a beautiful, beautiful day. And we are about to get started now. Okay, here are the staked okra. Now I am going to stake this one here. I need to stake this. This is the bean. This is the bean sprout. I've got to stake that. So I got two, but this one is still, he isn't ready for all that yet. He isn't ready for all that yet. I have to tell y'all about this little experiment that I did. We'll watch it, but I'm not going to say much about it. Honey, this is the bad child side. Look what's happening here. I'll tell you about that. Let's go ahead and stake this bean plant. All right. Can you see it? I wonder, should I switch out these little stakes and put these in? What you think? I'm talking about take these stakes that's here out and substitute with these. Should I do that? Or just leave them? Okay. So really all I have to stake today is the little bean plant. It's good. That's good enough. I'm gonna wrap this little baby around. I'm sure it's gonna get taller, but as it grows, I will get new stakes if I need to. But for right now, I just don't want it dragging. Have you been trying to put water in the top, Daddy, like it's supposed to? Nope. No. I just got the top on to keep up with it. What, this top? I don't think so. You think just by. Okay, so take the top off. Okay. Okay. Okay, again, we will talk about this one. I told Daddy to cut off some of these chives and see if we cut them back some, if they'll start to grow right. Of course, we're not going to eat anything that looks like that, but. Oh, you say let them hang, don't cut them? Okay, we'll see. Daddy said let them hang. So again, I'll tell you about this later. I'm going to give it a little bit of time and then we'll talk about it. So I think that's staked nicely, don't you? So Daddy is telling me maybe we should spin these around a little bit so other side can get some love, like a half a turn. Knowing me, I'm gonna end up turning it 360. Hello, hello. I'm back at home now, and I wanted us to chat while I sort through these seeds. Now, in this video, I was originally talking to the camera, but the sound quality was odd for some reason. So disregard my gestures and random pointing to seed packets because the voiceover is not going to match the video. Anyway, let's talk about current and future plans as far as the garden goes. Now, I know summer is technically just beginning, but I think now is the time to start planning a late summer, early fall garden. And if you're in zone 8B like I am, we get a pretty long growing season. So I'd like to talk about what to plant when the time comes. I want to talk about environmental factors I need to consider. And I also want to know what you're planting and if you are a year-round grower or if you take seasonal breaks. So let me tell you a little bit about Zone 8B where I am. So here our gardens can thrive from March through November. Late summer is very hot and humid with daytime temps getting up to the mid 90s, and I mean Fahrenheit, and sometimes we'll bust 100. And of course, we often have very heavy afternoon thunderstorms. When fall comes, naturally the air kind of cools down. And in September and October, we can see highs around 78 degrees Fahrenheit and lows around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is still not really bad for planting. But with that in mind, we also need to keep watch for late season storms, which is prime time for hurricanes and tropical storms, which can bring heavy rain at best and total destruction at worst. Now, we see this mostly around August, so we have to plan accordingly. I mean, with patio gardening, we can move things inside if we need to. Unfortunately, in-ground gardeners don't have that luxury. So, what should I plant for now and later? For now, I can continue planting things like green beans and okra. I'd like to plant summer squash, but I'm concerned about pests and plant health. I am too new of a gardener to be worrying about everything all at once. Remember, this is not just Miss Flowers' patio garden, it's also Miss Flowers' experimental growing lab. And I've told y'all that many times. In the fall, when night temperatures start to dip, I can start planting like salad greens and um, spinach, radishes, maybe some mustard greens, turnips, and I'll definitely retry collards. Not sure about broccoli and cabbage. Around here, there's an old saying that if you want your collards by Thanksgiving, you got to get them in the ground by Labor Day. So I might just use the old Labor Day rule. It can't hurt because I use the Good Friday rule for my spring plants. Some people will even say on before tax day. Tax day is always April 15th. So that's kind of a good rule of thumb. I also want to start a little herbal garden. And I might just do that in one of the tiers of the green stalk, or maybe I'll put them all in one of those large 10-gallon grow bags that I showed y'all in a previous video, and I'll try to remember to link that video. Right now, you may have seen in this video where I showed you a packet of dill and some basil seeds, but for the herbal garden, I will need to grab some seeds like parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Drop a comment if you know that reference. Anyway, I also need to get some oregano and mint seeds. There will be no cilantro growing in this patio garden because I happen to be one of those folks where cilantro tastes like soap. Either way, I just need to check the best dates to plant those herbs. So let's shift to things we need to think about in the near future. We got to deal with this heat and humidity, and it's about to get hotter and even more humid, and I need to think about keeping the soil moist and the roots from getting too dry. I may need to use some type of mulch, but I got to do a little bit more research on that. I think I read somewhere that the mulch that I should use in my zone should be lighter. So maybe I will use pine straw. What do you guys think? Drop me a comment. Also, I mentioned earlier, this time of year, we always have to think about storms that bring all that heavy rain and wind, bring floods. And with all that in mind, there's always the risk of losing some of your plants. That's all a part of the game. So, what else? Pest control and plant health. As far as pest control goes, I've been spraying a bit of 7 pesticide on the plants, but I really want to keep things more organic. So I've been looking at some DIY stuff. If you guys have any recipes for or ideas or thoughts on organic pest control, drop that in the comments for me. I would appreciate it. I also need to think about funguses, fungi, however you want to put it, mildew, and other things that can affect my plant's health. So I'm looking into for plant health, pruning, which is supposed to help circulate air, which I guess is good for their health. I do know that it helps to encourage growth, though. I also got to keep an eye on those aphids and treat the plants as quickly as I can to cut down on some of the damage. Now, it's your turn. Are you a spring summer gardener planting once and done? Or do you love late summer fall planting? Maybe you're a year-round gardener, always transitioning from crop to crop, from one thing to the next. Tell me in comments, what's your favorite fall crop, summer crop? Do you struggle with heat, bugs, or unpredictable weather? I definitely love to know. So let me take a moment to thank you so much for hanging out with me in the garden. And I want you to stay abreast of what's going on here. So please be sure to comment, like, subscribe. I really appreciate the people who have started to follow me. I have a grand total of about 35 followers. Yay, me! That means somebody is somewhat interested, even if it's nothing other than to watch me make a freaking fool of myself. Maybe they like my southern accent. I've read all kinds of things. So either way, I'm going to move on now, and I will talk with you guys later. Take care.